Hello everyone. This video presents a brief introduction on Madhavaya's Clarinda. First, let us see about the author. Madhavaya was born on 16th August 1872 in Perungulam village of Tirunelveli district in Tamil Nadu. He joined Madras Christian College for his BA degree. The principal of the college, Dr. William Miller, who taught him English literature, greatly influenced him. The influence of Miller was found in Madhavaya's semi-autobiographical novel Thillai Govindan. The other influences of the rationalists such as Ingersoll and Bradlaugh are also found in his writings. Writers such as Huxley, Spencer and Carlyle greatly influenced him. Madhavaya taught at the Madras Christian College for 1 year. In 1893, he was employed as a civil servant in the Salt and Abkari department. Madhavaya began writing in English and Tamil. He had equal felicity in both the languages. In 1892, six installments of his Tamil novel Savitri Saitram was published in the journal Viveka Sindhamani, which was later published as Muthu Meenakshi in 1903. Besides this, Madhavaya published poems and articles in the Madras Christian College magazine. Madhavaya was a prolific writer both in Tamil and in English. His three major novels in Tamil are Padmavati Charitram, which was published in 1898, Vijay Martandam, published in 1903, and Muthu Meenakshi, published in 1903. His three novels in English are Thillai Govindan, published in 1903, Satyananda 1909, and Clarinda 1915. In addition to this, Madhavaya wrote several poems, plays, articles, and short stories in both the languages. He had done some translations also. Madhavaya's Udayalan was an adaptation into Tamil from Shakespeare's play Othello. His Kural Nanuru translation, which was a translation into English, was from the 400 couplets of Tirukural, which was a collaborative work with Francis Kingsbury. About the text Clarinda. Clarinda was first published in 1915 by the Cambridge Press, Tondaripet, Madras. Clarinda is a historical novel. Madhavaya borrows the story from Tanjore Gazetteer for Book 1, which forms the historical backbone of the novel. Violent political encounters, machinations, and alliances of Tanjore are reflected in this novel. Madhavaya's characters are very realistic and they are not mere caricatures. In Book 2, one can find interior monologues or prose soliloquies, which give depth to his characters and also which analyzes their motives. Madhavaya quotes from two sources for this novel, that is, Bishop Cladwell's records of the early history of the Tirunelveli mission of the SPCK and SPG, 1881, and Canon F. Penny's The Church in Madras, 1904. The pre-colonial encounter between the East and West is found in this novel. Also, we find two different cultures and religion dealt with in this novel. The tortured pre-colonial history forms the background of the novel. In Madhavaya's works, the position of women in his time is given in a detailed manner. The important aspect of his criticism is the orthodox Brahmin society. The question of education plays an important role in the novel. Clarinda is an imagined story of a real woman who lived some 200 years ago. Clarinda was educated at home in Sanskrit by her learned grandfather, Pandit Rao. At the age of 12, Clarinda widely read all the works. She received classical education as a bright boy of her times. She reads critically from her feminist perspective. And she is trained to question and dispute with her grandfather. She has an eager and an inquiry mind and also an ability to reason. Post-Enlightenment intellectual makeup is not possible without Western education. The early education forms the fundamental element of the novel. That is, it deals with the development of Clarinda's character. When the novel begins, we find Clarinda as a child with a brilliant mind, brilliant inquiring mind, who grows up having suffered much, liberates herself into a woman of independence and courage, who gradually takes control of her life and choosing to live with the man she loves, and who finally ends her life in noble service. However, she was not allowed to decide her marriage due to the Brahmanic rules laid on her. Her intellectual training will not allow her to passively follow the decisions of her life. Her marriage with Devon was a fruitless one. The independence of spirit and mind, her independence of spirit and mind were the outcome of the education which she received. However, she survived a bad marriage for 6 years. Later, she became a widow. And the theme of widow remarriage is also found in this novel. She is not a victim to be rescued. The central invention and motive of this novel is Sati. When Clarinda was able to perform Sati, she was saved by an English officer, Lilliton. Clarinda and Lilliton are presented as pure and noble-minded persons, which is evident from the epigraph of the novel. Blessed are they whose sorrow rather is to suffer wrong than to do wrong, albeit themselves have erred. However, the real Clarinda was undoubtedly a remarkable woman. She was a Brahmin widow who was rescued by an English officer. The real Clarinda sought baptism twice from Reverend Frederick Schwartz. But she was refused baptism on the first occasion in 1771 because of her irregular union with the English officer Lilliton. She again went to Schwartz in 1778 to get baptism. But the English officer died of gout. Later, Clarinda became a Christian and she served the Palayamkottam congregation, and she became a leading member of the Palayamkota congregation. Now let us see about the important themes of the novel. Sati forms the pivotal element of the novel. However, the central moment of the novel is the development of Clarinda's character. The relationship between Clarinda and Lilliton is presented as an idealized and romantic love, but a doomed one. The novelist focuses on equal relationship, that is mutual love and partnership within a traditional but liberalized marriage. Madhavaya gives importance to education for women, which is the sole reason, which he considers as the sole reason to get equality or to achieve equality of women. Uh, it will lead women to have an ideal marriage of free choice, which is cut across caste and religion. The story is an extraordinary layered one. The historical events form the perspective of the 18th and 19th century missionaries, the German and the English. The novel is a vision of an early 20th century reformist. This novel can be considered as an 18th century exemplar, women of his times. Thank you for your patient listening.